Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines, our morning broadcast here on Facebook. It's live. We are real. We are not a figment of anybody's imagination. And we get together here to discuss news about our city, news about our state, news about our country, news that help us better connect with our city, our home, our destination, Puerto Vallarta, as a community of English-speaking locals. Always great news, always interesting news, and then there's always the weird stuff. And I was thinking just now, which is why I was kind of frozen in the middle of nothing. Where shall we go today? I mean, do we go to the lung that was found in the river that turns out to not be a human lung? Do we go to the news about the Santa Barbara Street and we have no idea what's going to happen? Do we go to the hundreds of tires that keep appearing and everybody seems to know where they came from, but nobody's talking about it? Do we go to the prominent local couple that got busted, apparently having some oral fun in the middle of the street in the middle of the night? Or do we go to the serious news? I mean, where do we go? It's a crazy time to be living in Puerto Vallarta. We certainly don't lack things to talk about. So today, as always, we are going to, oh, hello, John Baker. I love that photo of yours. So I'm going to start the day on a flirty side and say, John Baker, buenos dias. I like your smile. That's it. Anyhow, this is Coffee and Headlines. We get together and we discuss all these news and we try to apply them to, oh my God, all my would-be husbands are here. Hello, Professor. I'm ready for my lesson. We just talk about all this stuff, and today is no exception. We have the news, and there's all kinds of news, good news, interesting news, crazy news. I see that Michal says, roll the Jumanji dice and see where it takes us. I don't know that I want to go some of these places that I've mentioned, but we will touch base in just about all of them or most of them. What's the scandal? Well, how many do you want? Pick a scandal. You know, we're being taken over by rubber tires. We're being taken over by rubber duckies. And I'll explain that because there's still more follow-up to those rubber boots. We have, oh my God, we have squirrel news. I mean, we have just everything you can imagine. And yes, Karen, you're right. If I don't stop rambling, this might be a long broadcast. So we might as well get started before we do house notes or house rules or housekeeping. If this is your first time, my name is Paco, and we love to hear from people that join us for the first time. You can do that by writing the word new in your comments. Okay, I'll stop looking at your comments because I'm always tempted to engage. And if you have something important that you wish to share, please let us know by adding the letter Q. Okay, no, I really have to stop looking at your comments because you're making me blush like a schoolgirl. I'm just gonna cue the news because we're just being silly here. But there's nothing wrong with being silly. Are you guys feeling silly? I am feeling silly today. Um, did I miss video photos of baby kittens? No, you haven't missed those. Okay, the news, the news, the news. I'm feeling so silly this morning, it's not even funny. Let me tell you that Hugo Lopez Gatell has announced that this week began with a 26% decrease in COVID 19 cases in all of Mexico when compared to last week. This is great news. This means also that Mexico has accumulated 4 weeks with reductions in caseloads. At present time, 66% of the adult population in Mexico has received at least one vaccine dose, and it is expected that by October 31st, just before Day of the Dead, how convenient, all individuals 18 or older will have received at least one vaccine. Most hospitals in the region are getting a well-deserved break, although the Vallarta Regional Hospital continues to occupy 91% of its available beds with respirators. Let me show you some of the numbers in case you are collecting this information. Here are the different hospitals in Puerto Vallarta, and we can see that when it comes to COVID 19 beds without respirators, the numbers are lower than they have been. The different clinics by the IMSS and the ISTE are showing lower numbers. Beds with ventilators are slightly more busy. And when it comes to intensive care units, we see here that some hospitals did not deliver all their information, but at least we know that the numbers are looking better, and this is very good news. As an aside, let me share an aside. That's what I'm trying to say. I ran into this very interesting and thought-provoking article from Vox this morning. It was written about the United States, of course, but it could apply to any country. America needs to decide how much COVID 19 risk it will tolerate. This is an interesting article that I'm definitely going to go back and read completely, because are we trying to eradicate COVID altogether, or are we trying to learn how to live with it and learn to accept certain levels of risk? I think this is a hugely important question that should be posed at a personal level, at a municipal, state, federal level. And what seems to be interesting about this article, focusing specifically, obviously, on the United States, is that the strategies put forth don't seem to indicate one way or another, whether the country is trying to get rid of COVID or whether it's trying to get its population to learn how to exist with it. So I will leave this with the show notes as always so that you can take a look at it and talk about it amongst yourselves. Meanwhile, bar employees looking for the promised financial support from the state government can now register to receive it. The aid is available for micro, small, and medium formally established businesses in the state of Jalisco that suspended their operations during the month of August due to the sanitary guidelines. This article, of course, contains a link where you can apply for the funds. Of course, you have to be a legitimate bar that pays its taxes, that has its employees subscribed to the Social Security system, and it's in good financial standing. I am sure that this applies to just about every bar in the city, and we will all be very happy about that. Of course, the bars are not happy with only being able to serve 25% of their capacity and would like to be able to welcome 50% of their capacity. As it turns out, less than 75% of local bars actually reopened with such a limitation. The rest realized that 25% capacity was simply not enough to make ends meet. At present time, authorities have no plans to increase capacity in bars, and the health board that meets weekly does not have this item in their agenda at present time. Meanwhile, Okay, so I saw a headline yesterday. Well, not a headline because it came from Facebook. So Facebook doesn't publish headlines; they publish strange rumor founded statements. And somebody said, "Is it true that we're going to be without water for 3 whole days?" As it turns out, Zapal is busy everywhere, either fixing damages from Hurricane Nora or upgrading their main distribution pipes or fixing raw sewage leaks caused by heavy rains. At the very least, we are grateful that Zapal at least has the decency of announcing ahead of time where they're going to be intervening their infrastructure on social media, as opposed to other services such as Telmex that simply come and go and they never tell you why they're fixing something or when it's going to come back. By the way, here is a phrase that you may not even know. I said raw sewage just a second ago, but do you know what we call raw sewage in Spanish? If you do, leave it in your comments. If you don't, it may be helpful because if there's a leak in your house, you can just go outside and talk to your neighbors and go, ooh, raw sewage. Or you can go, ooh, blank. If you know it, let me know. I know, but I will tell you by the end of today, you will know or you will remember what we call raw sewage in Spanish. And it doesn't hurt because these days the city seems to be a little bit stinky. Moving right along, there are 250 people. Oh, handsome John Baker got it. Aguas Negras or Black Waters. Not to be confused with the song. Oh, black water, keep on rolling. Or maybe that's what the Mississippi song was about. What do I know? All I know is that 250 people that are in Playa Grande continue to not be able to leave their homes because they turned out to be isolated because of a suspension bridge that fell down in the river. And in case you don't know where Playa Grande is, of course, we're going to whip out our map. There's Playa Grande, and of course, this means nothing to you because you don't know where that is unless you live there. If I zoom in, Playa Grande is this community. Here is Las Glorias, here's Hotel Zone, and there's the Pitillal River, and here it comes. And Playa Grande has homes both sides of the river, and these roads that you can see here, these are probably some of these are actual roads that may or may not be working. All I know is that somewhere around here there is a community of 250 people that cannot get anywhere just because they are waiting for this bridge to be rebuilt. I saw another version of this when I was at El Jorullo this weekend. There's a number of communities that largely depend on these suspended bridges that fell down during the hurricane. So we hope that the government and the private sector will work together to find a solution for this situation. Let's see. Everything else is less important and leisurely. So let's take a break and take a look at our weather. Blackwater, Fuchi. I love it. Fuchi, that is a great word. My goodness. Anyhow, oh yeah, rest in peace, Omar, the American television actor that passed away. So very sad. Let's see, 26 degrees right now in Puerto Vallarta, feels like 30. 92 degrees, 92% is our humidity, and 79 degrees Fahrenheit is our temperature in USA. USA numbers, that is. Our forecast for today, possible light rain in the morning and overnight. Well, the morning already came and went, and it didn't rain, at least not around here, but we could have some overnight rain like we had rain last night. It rained quite a bit in my neighborhood. Our high temperature is 31, low temperature is 24. Wednesday, that would be tomorrow, rain in the evening with a high temperature of 32, low temperature of 24. And Thursday, it'll be humid and mostly cloudy through the day at a high temperature of 31, low temperature of 24. So there you have it. More rain and more humidity and more craziness. Why? Because, of course, we have a... Oh, let me change the order of some of these news items because I want to talk about this first. There's an imminent hurricane. There's another one headed our way. This is, well, I might as well just show it to you. It doesn't even have a name. It's still a tropical storm, And it's this little guy, 96E, they're calling it. It's not strong enough to become a hurricane just yet. Doesn't even have a hurricane name, but it's getting closer to a region. It's still unclear to whether it will become a hurricane before or after it passes through our coast, but it is there. At the very least, we can expect to see a fair amount of rain to continue to fall upon us. And we know what we need to do. We need to take cover and take good care of ourselves. And keep thinking about all those rubber tires that keep appearing and things. Well, we'll see what happens with the source of the tires. And now we move on to other news, such as the fact that the cruise lines has confirmed that it's coming back to Puerto Vallarta this November. Again, we're not itching to get on board one of these vessels, but they bring some prosperity to the economic lives of many Vallartenses. So this is good to see that the cruise lines are continuing to return. Hopefully they're following all their guidelines and they're not having any kinds of COVID-related incidents. Interestingly enough, there were more tourists in Los Cabos in Vallarta this summer than in 2019, despite the national and international restrictions. Both Los Cabos and Vallarta together welcomed 1.9 million tourists. How crazy is that we had that much tourism? And even though the summer is pretty much over, we're now entering school season and whatnot, Puerto Vallarta still hopes to get more than 45% occupancy during the month of September. September, of course, is known as a month that is fairly slow because of the weather and because national visitors are already in school. School is happening. And of course, we already know that we are going to have yet another September without any kind of Independence Day related festivities. So, it will be what it will be. We continue to know what it is that we're supposed to do. But if you were scheduling a visit to Puerto Vallarta to see fireworks during Independence Day, you will be sorely disappointed. You might as well stay home and watch a YouTube video. And the last headline that I have to share with you before we start looking at your comments has absolutely nothing to do with Puerto Vallarta, but this made me think about our dear friend Christy Frederick, who is our local or our coffee and headlines squirrel expert, and I am having a difficult time refreshing this headline because it's gone dark on me. And of course, I wanted to show you at least the photo, but this is an elaborate squirrel feeding machine, and it's a cute video. And it's one of those machines, one of those Ruby Goldberg machines that just starts all kinds of mechanical movements. We've seen a lot of things like that on Pee-wee's movies, for example. Anyhow, I'm going to leave you with a link for this really, really cute video so that you can have a look at it and smile a little bit, as I'm sure you're smiling right this very second, unless you have cramps of one kind or another. And this, of course, is the end of our headlines. Let me take a quick look and see who is here and who is not. Actually, before we do that, let me do some show and tell, because what happens is yesterday, and I forgot to pull the message out of my inbox, but yet another one of you sent me a series of photographs. There is a store in La Isla that sells rubber ducky related chingaderas. And no, I did not rush out there to buy rubber ducky chingaderas. I just wanted to make sure that I would set the record straight, and I announced that I have had an obsession for some time. Here are some of my kids. They live in my bathroom. Here's their mother. Here's their father. So no, I don't dig the boots, but I do have a thing for rubber duckies. This is why I'm single. I am just too fucking weird. Anyhow, I just wanted to put that out there. In case there continues to be a lingering obsession about rubber duckies. I know that there's a lingering obsession about rubber tires, and we pray that that obsession will be resolved one way or another. And now, on to your comments. Lots of good mornings, as always, and we welcome those every single day. Um, let's see what we have. Do, 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 do. Yes, so sorry to hear about the water. Again, there are shortages, but it is comforting to know that Sepal is busy. They're doing things, and nobody wants to be left without any water, but at least we know they are working on it. Let's see, Michael. Yay! Michael is moving to Puerto Vallarta with husband, who's very, very talkative. We've never heard from husband here at Coffee and Headlines, but I think Michael is the PR side of the couple. You're almost here, my friend. You're almost here, and I'm excited for you guys. And I hope that you've been able to find a home, or you've at least strategized a landing place while you search for a permanent rental or whatever it is that you plan for yourselves. Hello. Hello. It's good to see you, Profe Harper. It's good to see you every time I see you. Let's see what else we have. Wow, full morning of news. Yes, there were some gossipy things that I threw at you just to see if you would react to them. So I'm not going to address them unless you bring them up. There you go. Let's see what else we have. I don't think it's going to be that long, Karen. We do have some things to do today. The naked men are coming back for more photographs, and I have to get the photo studio ready right behind me. And this makes me blush, so I'm not going to acknowledge it. Diane, did someone find my boots? Girl, do you want them before your mani-pedi or after your mani-pedi? Go find your own boots. We've given you all kinds of leads. There are Amazon links. There are La Isla things. And, we have our scouts really busy working for you so you can find your boots. Oh, my God. Let us not make that a trend. Let's see. Sounds like a juicy Monday in more ways than one. Well, for starters, Lynn, it is Tuesday. And it is juicy because I finally got the results back from my lab work. And all I'm going to say is it's a lot less expensive to stay in shape and drink healthy juices than to pay for cholesterol medication. Enough said. You guys, don't let yourselves get COVID all over the place like I have, because then you're going to end up spending your budget in medicine instead of tacos. So just saying that. Sherry chimes in from Boca. We got power back a day ago on our side of the river. Shower felt so good. Good for you. Silly is good. I hear you. Thank you very much, Michal. Can't wait for you guys to get back to Puerto Vallarta. Let's see what else. Can we use the tires for rubber boots? Well, if the tires did come from a certain condo building located over there, they're going to need all the income they can find. So maybe they're going to start selling rubber boots because they're legal. Well, I don't know. I'm making things up. I really don't know what's going to happen with that building and that situation. But it'll be really interesting. 6 months from today, we may be thinking, whatever happened to Santa Barbara Street? Are they ever going to build it? And we're going to be thinking, whatever happened to Riviera Quale? Are they going to straighten it? So who knows? It's unsolved mysteries that we can look forward to for spring 2022. Is there another hurricane coming? And me without boots, says Diane. Diane, just go to Walmart and get some chanclas. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And you will get your boots in due time. Oh, what a great comment from a great name. Mago Chacon. That sounds like a great name to me. We love your broadcast. Makes us feel right there with you. I only watch Puerto Vallarta news instead of Chicago. Well, if you live in Chicago, you may want to know what's going on with your own city, because if that's your home, you may want to be involved. But yeah, as long as you want news about Puerto Vallarta and a little bit of craziness and the occasional appearance of rubber duckies, you've come to the right place. Let's see. And then there are other mutations. This must have to do with vaccines. Yes, I just saw another headline that says that there's a number of dangerous mutations in Mexico, including the Delta variant. But I'm trying to keep the news light and happy, which doesn't mean that we can go out and get contagious with crazy mutations or anything. But I want to give you the good stuff. I want to give you, the stuff that'll make you feel that we're going to be okay. There you go. Paul nails it. Paul nails it. It will become manageable like seasonal flu. That's the best we can hope for. And hopefully this will get in the mindset of people that are still thinking otherwise. La 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 la. I'm going to start a rubber duck boot business for all of us to waddle in the water. Oh, remember when we had that song, the Waddle Waddle song? The lemonade duck, remember that? There is a tropical storm out in the ocean further out than Nora was and on a westerly route away from the coast, Paul says, and Paul is right. We hope that it will not turn into a hurricane, but the storm is definitely there. And then we get to the part where I asked you guys what we call sewage water. We call it aguas negras, black waters. Of course, Katrina cuts to the chase and she calls them mierda. I love it. I love it. I love it. Angelica stays Canadian and dainty and says aguas apestosas, stinky waters. That's a very politically correct way to call them. Mago says agua de caño. Yes, that applies as well. Oh, Dave, agua cagada. That would be shitty water. I actually call it caca water whenever I'm speaking in English, but that's just me. Oh, look, we have a new person. New. Saludos desde Los Angeles. I've been watching the show for a year, so you're not that new. But it's great to have you here. Visited Vallarta 3 times since May and have decided to move to Vallarta in a year. See you soon. By the way, great show. Ma, I'm going to call you Ma because I don't know what else to call you. I made a decision to move to Puerto Vallarta 1 year before I did. And that was the time I needed to get ready both financially, logistically, and emotionally to detach from 2 decades living in New England and to get myself ready to move here. So if you've made this decision and you have decided to move to Puerto Vallarta, may our community serve you as best as possible so that you can start making all the right decisions right now by asking important questions. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. La li la li la la. Blackwater Fuchi. I'm holding on to Fuchi. We know that Fuchi means ew. E-W, ew. In Spanish, we say Fuchi, so definitely keep that in mind. And moving right along. You guys are so chatty today. Welcome to the group Ma. I love it. I love it. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, Julie gives us a more context. Thank you very much, Julie. The one and only road up along the Rio Pitillal past Playa Grande has been completely washed away in places. There are people who live up there too. Homes washed away. It's sad, but help has been showing up. This is very good news. Again, the government and the authorities and so forth and so on, they may not be able to get to where we would like to as quickly as we would like to, but they're on it. They are on it, absolutely. Hurricane Paco, well, I'm sure they'll call one of them Paco at one point or another. They go alphabetically, so I may still have a chance this year. Question, when is a tropical storm or hurricane expected to affect us, says Clay. I think it's within the next couple of days, just from looking at where it stands. But everything seems to indicate that by the time it becomes a more mature phenomenon, it will be already heading outwards. We can expect some rain, that's for sure. But will it be a nasty hurricane like we just had? Very, very unlikely. However, we have to keep our fingers crossed because hurricane season is far from over. Ba-dim bam 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 boom, ba-dum bum boom, ba-dum bum bum. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Ooh, another newbie. Kathy Scott Rinaldi just moved here in July. Loving it. This is good to know. Um, Clive, oh, God bless you, Clive. You mentioned Calle Santa Barbara earlier. Any news as it affects us? No, no news. No news just yet. Whether there actually something is going on behind closed doors or whether nothing is going on, I couldn't tell you. And it could stay that way um, for a day, for a week, for a month, for a year. I mean, we've been waiting for a new highway from Guadalajara for a decade now. So, we will definitely announce it when it happens, whatever it is that we have to announce, that's for sure. Um, Luna loves the ducky family, although it's not a new family. I've had those rubber ducks for a long time. They're filthy, actually. I need to get them a little. I need to give them a little washy. Let's see what else we have. How are you doing on your Butterfingers Paco? Pick up the minis. Well, I need to continue to be mindful of my health. I'm going to continue to eat Butterfingers. Don't get me wrong. I will never renounce food of one kind or another. If the doctor said to me, you have to stop eating tacos al pastor, I would simply curb my appetite, and that's what's going to happen with Butterfingers. Right now, we have a nice stash. Thank you. But they're you gotta have, some of you gotta have rubber boots. I gotta have my Butterfingers. It's that simple. Um, no, no. Sorry, Diane. These are my rubber duckies. I can let you. They can have a play date at your house, but you can certainly not make boots out of them. That would be against. That would be like animal cruelty. Why would you do that to my rubber ducks? Um, Heather gets kinky. I love it. Rubber duckies, rubber tires, rubber outfits. That's gonna give me a boner. Um, oh, I didn't just say that, did I? Yes, I did. Did I? Terry cuts to the chase and says, "What the duck?" I love it. I love it. Uh, you guys are too funny today. Sounds kinky, says John. Everything that happens here sounds kinky. Oh, I didn't know this, but if you're moving in with me, at least I'll have like live singing on a regular basis. How is your repertoire coming, my dear? What? What about that? All I'm gonna say, Julie, is, and we should know this because we're a bunch of locals. Okay, we know that every now and then we do. Okay, before I continue on this one, if there are any tourists out there watching today, please pay attention because this happens to you more than it happens to us that live here. You know, there is such a thing as drinking, and when you drink too much, you end up doing stupid things. We've all been there. I've been there. I've been there, and I've woken up or gotten, well, never mind me. We're not going to talk about me right now. But all I'm going to say is if you're out and about late at night and you've had too much to drink, well, for starters, don't get to the point in which you've had too much to drink without making sure that there's someone in your cluster that will look after you. And don't assume this. Just make deals. Sometimes when I go out with my friends, we'd look at one another and we're like, okay, so who's the one that's going to look after whom today? When I go out to the river with my friends, we secure transportation on the way back because we don't ever want to be crawling out of there after so many tequilas. That's one incident. You want to be careful of what you're doing when you're tipsy. Number two, the friendliest city in the world with the most popular gay community destination, whatever, is real, but only to a certain extent. There are a lot of people here that don't like gay people. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about because, oh, no, 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 no. We don't want to frighten the gays. But the reality is that there is a nice neighborhood, but the city It's a big city, and the city is full of people that like and dislike all kinds of things. And there are a lot of people out there that don't like gay people and may be inclined to do things against gay people just to take advantage of them. That's aspect number two. So we talked about drinking out. Aspect number two, people that may not like gay people, and some of them who actually may be part of our police force. And power to them. I mean, if I'm a policeman and I have certain beliefs of my own, that those are my personal beliefs, and they should have nothing to do with my line of work. But that brings us to item number three. This is September. There's no money. We call it septiembre. Nobody's making enough money. Everybody's tired. Everybody's cranky. Everybody's slashing out, and this would not be a first time in which the police decided to invent charges against someone in order to get a bribe. It happens everywhere, and it is unfortunately part of the nature of the beast. So, the headline is Prominent Couple were busted out on the street late at night in Colonia Emiliano Zapata doing it, and they were taken to jail. Now, were they doing it? We don't know. Were they gay? That we do know. Was it a corruption driven act of I'm going to extort some money from you because you're foreigners? We don't know. We don't know exactly what happened. All we know is that these things happen, and it happened, and we don't know what's going to end up happening as the outcome of this situation. All I can tell you, and you should know that because you're locals, is don't be out drinking late at night by yourselves or without someone that is going to keep you pleasant company. And if you're a tourist, don't do things that you might regret or things that you wouldn't do at home that you think you can get away with just because you're on vacation. I mean, we could sit here for hours telling stories of tourists that did stupid things, and then they got busted, and then they went on social media and totally wrecked the reputation of the city just because the ones that did stupid things were them. Now, I'm not saying that this particular couple did something stupid or not. All I'm saying is something happened, and they're in jail, and hopefully they're going to be able to resolve their situation soon. And that's the end of the story. How's that? Let's see what else. Oh, I can see when some of my stories you are not interested in because all of a sudden you become so chatty about everything else. I love it. Like, I live in Chicago, and like maybe if you live in Chicago, um, that's okay. That's okay. You guys remind when you start talking about other things, you remind me of when you go out on a dinner with five friends, and one of your friends all of a sudden goes like this. And you're thinking to yourself, well, what the fuck? Are we not interesting enough for you that you have to be looking at your phone? But anyway, I love you anyway. Let's see what else we have. I'm impressed that the people in Vallarta jump in and clean up. They sure don't wait for the government. That's true. There's a lot of volunteers out there. Um, oh, Barbara. Okay, I'm guilty. I'm guilty because we've been using chingaderas for a long time. What does it mean? How is it spelled? Um, Chingaderas is a very vulgar Mexican way of saying chachkas or thingamabibis or thingamajaggies or thingamabobbies or just items. We have spoken about chingaderas in the past. We haven't whipped out the chingonario in a while, but I am going to do that sometime in the near future because it is due. It is due. So chingadera is an open word to describe anything and everything, and it should be used carefully because if you use it in a negative context in front of somebody, you might hurt somebody's feelings. So just use the word sparingly, not like I do. Let's see what else. Uh, 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 uh. Let's see what else. Question. My single gal pals ask me if it's safe at night walking the streets. I say yes, but am I naive as I feel so safe? I think it depends on the neighborhood you're in, the time of night, and how much light there is around you. I have lady friends that have had problems being out and about at night. Um, I just think, Lynn, that common sense here is important. I mean, we love to talk about the city being safe and friendly and blee 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 blah blah blah, but the bottom line is, you know, it depends on where you are, and I would certainly not go a place by myself if I was a lady, because I'm a girl. No, I wouldn't be out at night by myself if I was a woman in a lot of places in Puerto Vallarta. Certainly places where there are other people around me, I certainly would. But 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, nope, I wouldn't. Um, let's see. Let's see what else. If you're not at home, don't do it in Vallarta. It's not Vegas. Let's see what else. Yes, I know it's late. Hold on. In general, is the Malecon safe to walk at night before 11 p.m., for example? I would say no. And I'm going to tell you why. At least presently, Malecon is having a lot of problems with their electricity. It's not well lit. It's not well lit. So um, we can, it's not safe. If there's not enough light, I would not want to be on the Malecon. Um, Terry, you don't convince me because you're not sitting on my chair. Um, let's see what else. Just returned from Cuba. Oh, wonderful. I didn't know that Cuba was open for tourism, but I'm glad you were there. It's a beautiful country. I was there once before and I would love to go back. Uh, and I think we're done. Oh my God, a new person, Ken Shirk, just snuck in. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. As we're getting ready to leave, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope you've had a good time, and I hope you've laughed and you've learned something. If that is the case, we have a frequently asked questions document in our website, and we have a way in which you can support the broadcast so that they can continue to enlighten and amuse you and inspire you and connect you to the local fabric of our city. And that's what we hope to do when we get together. It is, I'm, Terry, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go over there. Have a great day. Have a great day. Stay kind, stay connected, pay attention, get engaged in conversations. Don't look at your phone when you're sitting with other people at a dinner table. And come back soon. Have a great day.